So, how's that leg doing?
Great, never better.
Good. Why don't you try putting some weight on it?
Sure. Yes, oh, that's good. That feels good, very strong.
Sorry, Thunder. I gotta put you down.
How's your leg, huh? How's your leg? You ready to race, huh?
The Grand National is a horse race held every year in Liverpool, England. It is the most valuable jump race in Europe, with a prize pool of £1 million, and the event is prominent in British culture, with even those who don't usually gamble opting to bet on the races. The racecourse features much larger fences than those usually found on British and European racetracks. As a combined result of the pressure of competition and the unconventionally tough track and jumps, fatalities are commonplace. In fact, hardly a single year has gone by without horses dying during the Grand National. That's over 180 years of this event taking place, and apparently still not enough horses have died for it to have been permanently cancelled. This past weekend was this year's Grand National, and another 3 horses were raced to death or killed after sustaining an injury. The RSPCA even spoke out against the event after the first death, saying one death is too many. Strange that they won't offer the same sentiment to farmed animals as they do to racehorses, but I digress. It's not just the Grand National that's problematic though. Horse racing in general is cruel and abusive. Like animals raised to be killed as food, racehorses too have zero autonomy over their own reproduction. Instead, humans determine which horses will breed and when, and they do so forcefully. The abuse doesn't end with how these animals are brought into the world though, that's just where it begins. They are broken, as it's called, that is made to be submissive to riders, and trained from an extremely young age to push their bodies to the limits. It's not uncommon for them to be given steroids and other drugs to enhance performance, which can also have other physical and mental health side effects. Their lives are reduced to little more than the ball in a spinning wheel at the casino, being forced into races where they are whipped to the finish line. Eventually they age and are past their prime. At this point they're disposable, and in Britain alone literally thousands of retired racehorses are sent to slaughterhouses to have a bullet put in their brain before having their throats slit every year. Most breeds of horses are excluded as part of the food chain in Britain, so these animals' bodies are used as cheap meat to be exported, or are sometimes used as pet food. Occasionally racehorses are even live exported out of the country, only to be slaughtered overseas after enduring a traumatic journey. With all of this in mind, how can horse racing be looked upon as acceptable, and something like bullfighting be deemed as inexcusable animal abuse? And not only that, but everything I've said today applies to dog racing as well, another quote-unquote sport where animals are forced to be exploited and killed for our entertainment. Perhaps you're convinced, and I hope that's the case, and you never bet on horse racing and make sure you encourage others not to as well. But perhaps you still think horse riding in general isn't so bad. It does have a very wholesome image after all. The other day I summed it up like this. People are confused. They say horses enjoy being ridden. Not quite. Horses enjoy running. Human luggage is not required. Just like racehorses, all horses bought and sold to be ridden are part of that same harmful breeding cycle, and all have to be broken. And although you might say it's not necessarily cruel to condition certain behaviours into an animal, like teaching a dog to react to certain commands, breaking a horse is a much more heavy-handed form of discipline and isn't done for any necessary reason. I mean, after all, if we accept that we can exercise and entertain a dog by taking them for a walk and a run without sitting on their back, why can't the same be true of a horse? If you haven't got the space to exercise and entertain a horse without sitting on them, don't get one. Simple. One other thing, and I mean this should be obvious, but as well as mouth injuries horses can suffer from riding equipment, carrying all that weight is also really bad for them. Dr. Deb Bennett made a career out of x-raying horses, and her research showed that riding a horse before they reach the age of at the very least 6 years old will likely cause permanent damage to their spine. Many people start riding horses when they are only around 2 years old, so that would explain why in a study on the x-rays of nearly 300 horses' spines, 91.5% showed some kind of unnatural alteration in their bone structure. Honestly, this is just scratching the surface with the issues surrounding riding horses. But I'm not an expert on the topic, so I'll leave it to you to do further research if you do want to learn some more. Thanks for watching the video, subscribe if you're new, like it if you liked it, and please consider posting the video on your social media if you personally know people who bet on or otherwise support horse racing. Until next time, peace.